In 1 minute, pitch to us the absolute importance of the Outer Wilds.
Come on, guys, it's cruel. Like, what are you doing? You invite me here and this is what you think from me?
Yo, welcome to Die or Pass Level, the gaming podcast that remembers. I'm Player 1 Ray, joined here by Player 2. You know him, you love him. He grew up in the woods. TDK, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm actually a little bit refreshed because behind the scenes listeners, we're recording this on a Sunday morning. Ray and I are usually like burning the midnight oil after the kids go to bed. It's nice to have like a little lazy Sunday morning in this nice new setting.
Today's guest kind of inspired me a little on those morning vibes. I got up. I promise you, I don't usually do this, but I got my little French press out, ground coffee beans, and I made me a little pot. I'm having some now. It's good to have this coffee. And I'm sure you're nice and packed. You've got your passport in tow.
I'm ready to go. Look at the ready. Jason Bourne right here.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to bring out your Game Boy again.
Yeah. No, bro, I'm telling you, I keep my Game Boy and my passport side by side at all times, okay?
He's more than ready. We're about to head overseas to visit today's guest. He's made his way into my algorithm recently, and I couldn't help but be captivated. He's a gamer, collector, and all-around very chill dude with a very, very nicely decorated and organized place. I'm thrilled to have Tom Phillips, aka TomHasHobbies, on today. How you doing, man?
I'm so good. That was an incredibly complimentary intro. Incredibly. I'm glad that you think so, because it looks like my life is organized. Behind the scenes, it's not, but at least it looks like it on the Instagram. I'm happy with that.
From what I can see here, you got a nice place, dude.
It's taken many years. It's taken a lot of curation and a lot of effort, but it's nice to have a space where we can do things that we love, both me and my fiance, and have guests as well.
You gotta love entertaining. You gotta love having guests. And I think a big part of that is about being intentional with the things you choose in your life. And you are somebody who is very intentional. I love that. But let's take it back real quick to Ray's coffee, because I am a French press everyday type of guy, right? And coffee is a big part of your life, right? This is one of your hobbies.
Yep.
Ray and I are here. It's Sunday morning. Tell us a little bit about the coffee we're having this morning.
So coffee for me was like, out of all the hobbies that I have, was the one that I kind of discovered most recently. There is like a thriving coffee scene when it comes to like filter, French press, all of those sort of black coffee type things. But for me, I've always just been like latte, cappuccino, that sort of thing. I don't know if you could order them in America. My go-to is what we call a flat white.
Oh yeah, big deal over here. Your coffee over there has always probably been better than our coffee in Europe, in the region in general. I'm sure if flat white has been a big deal in Europe forever, or just a common thing, but it became trendy over here. Somebody from Starbucks or Phil's or wherever took a trip and they were like, have you guys heard of these flat whites? And they brought them back and they threw a ton of money into marketing, and now everyone in America drinks flat whites.
Yeah, that's kind of my go-to. And I think it's really popular because it's like kind of fake sophisticated. It's like the opposite of that stigma of like crazy caramel drinks and stuff, right? Which I don't have any problem with. I just decided I needed to like cut the sugar. So normally I would have a flat white every morning, which is with my coffee machine that I was gifted a few years ago. Really lucky to have got that for my birthday. And I drink one a day. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, you're like a coffee guy. And I'm like, yeah, but I can only stomach one a day.
It's a constant drip for me throughout life just to make it through.
Yeah, I get it.
Tom has been gracious enough to make me some of the coffee at his place. Thank you. Wow, beautiful, beautiful place you have here. We got one hobby checked off the list. Let's move on to what we're all about here at Die or Pass Level. We're going to head straight into our favorite hobby here, gaming. Mm-hmm. Question we like to ask first and foremost to all our guests is we want to talk about both your first and fondest gaming memories. Let's start with your first gaming memory.
First gaming memory for me, the PlayStation 1. I was pretty young at this point, maybe like 5 years old, I think, when it came out in Europe. If my memory serves me correctly, my parents bought me a PS1, but I was 5. So it was really for them. It was their PS1. I remember the first track of CTR, Crash Team Racing, Crash Cove, I think. I could not cross the line once in Crash Cove, which is not a fond memory. That's a terrible memory. It's uncomfortable. It's horrible. That's where it started for me, with the inability to play games, not being very good at it. And the other game that my parents had that they played a lot was Pac-Man World, which they remade a few years ago. And I played through for the first time because, again, could not beat it as a stupid child. My parents would play that when I had gone to bed. We had a staircase with like a railing and like bars, and I would look through these bars through the cracked door to our living room, and I would sit and I would watch my parents from afar play Pac-Man World 1. I like gravitated towards it so much. I was so intrigued by what was going on the screen. Clearly was desperate to connect with that.
Tom, how much of this was like a big brother, little brother, even though with you it was parents, situation where they were actually playing Crash and you just had a controller that wasn't hooked up and you were just, living your best life?
It was probably happening, let's be real. Yeah. It was probably happening.
The first time you did cross the finish line, maybe your dad crossed the finish line.
You're going to get him in trouble. Yeah, that would be a real revelation, but that was kind of where it began. And fondest gaming memory is like so tough because there's like just so many. I am the eldest of 3 siblings, and there is a 5-year gap between me and my sister. And when I was like 15, 16, that's when I was capable enough to play video games. Had my own room, I had my own TV, my PS3. And I think I was like discovering Fallout New Vegas and stuff like that. My sister, because I'd be like sat on my bed, I didn't have a chair playing these games, and she would just like sit on the end. And she would just kind of exist there, not necessarily talk to me. Now and again, probably insult me, as all younger sisters do so well, and just kind of hang out there and just listen to music and watch me play Fallout New Vegas. That's just something that is just so insanely like powerful in my head, in my memory, and something that was just like really great for us as siblings. And I just think about those moments all the time. She would like fall asleep and I'd be like, right, okay, I've now got this like dead weight human being in my room that I need to somehow get to their own bed. As much as it was an inconvenience at the time, it is something I would love to experience again.
I think that's probably the sweetest gaming memory story we've heard for that question. Like your fondest gaming memory. That's a really sweet story, Tom.
As fond as that is for you, I have to imagine that it's a very, very fond memory for your sister as well, which is equally beautiful.
I don't want to like hype myself up too much, but like elder siblings are like God. They're like the top level. So I hope she sees that nostalgically.
The fact that she fell asleep, that says it was a safe space for her. That says it was a place that she felt comfortable.
So you've talked to us about PS1, not quite your console. I mean, it was your console. It was gifted to you. You jumped forward into the PS3 and this awesome time you shared with your sister. We've missed a generation. Let's talk about what I believe is your very first console where you can really call it your own, the PS2.
Yeah, what a console. Hot take out the gates on the podcast. I think it's the best console that Sony released. And that's not to say that like I don't love other things. Like the PS3 was also brilliant and I found so much love there. And I'm 100% biased and it's nostalgia speaking, but it just had so much. And for me, it was like all the platformers, the discovery of Ratchet and Clank, maybe the single most important game series out there for me. From there, it was like Jak and Daxter, my physical copy of Ratchet and Clank 3. There was a slip of paper and you could input a code at the start screen and get a demo of the second Sly Cooper game. So then it was like Sly Cooper, and that was like 3 whole games, Prince of Persia, Kingdom Hearts, and all of these things were so big for me because they were mine. I discovered them independently. And as much as we all love speaking to people who relate, it was the first time as a kid where like I had things that I could tell my parents about that they had no idea what I was talking about. And it was like my little world to escape to, and I could share with my friends at school and stuff like that. And I think those memories for anyone are like super important and super formative. But for me, it was just a PS2.
Do you think this kind of period in your life that you're talking about where you discovered things on your own for the first time without influence led to you being a man of hobbies? Because essentially what you're doing now, like with coffee, like you just said, you're discovering things, and like maybe what you fell in love with was the process of discovery. So vinyl, video games, coffee, that's a really fun, hopeful process.
For sure. And I think it wavered as I got older because I was a teenager and there was like other priorities, relationships and school, and maybe not discovering so much. Ultimately, I have come back round to that habit, I guess you could say, and that like intention to like discover stuff. That all started with the PS2. I remember with the PS2 games, when you would go to your saved data on your memory card, they had these little icons for the PS2 and they were like laid out in like a grid. And I would like get a new game, save it as soon as I could, turn off the console, take the disc out, reboot the console, just so I could see what was waiting for me in this save menu and what the little logo was. I was just eating everything up from the PS2. It's where gaming began for me, which is, of the hobbies that we've spoke about, the longest running.
Speaking on the hobby side of it and how you are a collector, you even went in so far into it that you were collecting these little icons that would appear
Pretty much
in your memory card slot, which back then, I will say, I think the devs took kind of seriously. They were some real cheeky icons sometimes for these games. Symphony of the Night had like a bat that flapped its wings. Stuff like that was just cool to see.
So speaking of your hot take, PS2 is the best PlayStation console released. I think it's probably the biggest jump in all of gaming. I had a lot of like elitism around Dreamcast because it was just better. You know, it was just like, man, my Tony Hawk looks so good. And I went to a friend's house and I saw someone playing Madden. And I was like, it's over. It's done. That looks real. But it was a huge leap. In that case, you might be right, man.
I remember comparing specifically like what Crash Bandicoot looked like on the PS1 to what he did in Wrath of Cortex. Wrath of Cortex is a terrible game, in my opinion. I still love it because I saw that and was like, that's crazy. It was so long ago that I can't really truly speak to what I felt, but I remember being bewildered by it. Like, what am I looking at?
And like, I would argue that PlayStation and gaming, maybe gaming in general, hopefully not, peaked with PS4. Physical media, all the games that came out on PS3 were kind of perfected on PS4. We had it within our grasp to own it, to have it, to play it, to trade it, and it was still affordable. It wasn't $1,000. That to me is probably the best.
Many will agree with you, TDK. If I'm going to give a parallel, I feel like PS2 is Sony's Super Nintendo.
Totally.
Like they had a very long run, and the quantity and quality ratio was very strong on the PS2. I feel like that's a bit accurate, but yeah.
I mean, bro, NES to SNES, it was just so obvious, the jump.
So, Tom, you mentioned to us off the podcast that despite your consistency, your family came in and out of gaming. What were some games or consoles that temporarily brought them back from retirement?
I think it was the big one for family gaming. And if people don't know what that is, then I'm shocked. 100%. For my parents, it was the Wii. My sister didn't care about gaming. I mean, that's a lie. She was playing like PC browser games on our family computer, but like it never went beyond that. My little brother was obsessed, but again, much like me with Crash Cove, was too young. But the Wii was just for everyone. That was what Nintendo were going for, and it worked for us 100%. It was Wii Sports, just bowling all the time, just constantly. And it would be like, I don't want to make my parents sound strict because they weren't, but it was the first time where like we would eat our evening meal, our tea, our dinner around the table together, which is great. And I'm very lucky for that. We talked as a family and we did those things. That went out the window when the Wii existed. It was like, there's nothing to talk about. My dad wants to like kick my ass at bowling right now. A complete tone change in that regard. And we spent a lot of time on that console. I never really delved into it too much myself, but for a family, it was a big deal for us for sure.
I can't remember elderly people ever sitting down to play a video game, but everyone played Wii Tennis. It was in movies. It was like a board game. I think it was closer to Monopoly than it was PlayStation. Everybody's mom, everyone's grandma wanted to pretend to play tennis. It's interesting that gaming actually broke through to the general audience as deep as it did, and then they just abandoned it. They were like, nah, we don't want everybody.
You bring that thing to your aunt's house with the intention of just playing with your cousins. No, your aunt and uncle, by the end of the day, they're having the conversation about we're going to pick up a Wii.
They were doing like Wii Zumba or whatever, like really dorky mom workouts. It just transcended video games. It wasn't a video game console anymore. It was like an interactive home entertainment system.
I think the thing that indicates that for me individually more than anything is that I didn't want a Wii. My brother didn't want a Wii.
Same.
My sister didn't want one. My mum bought that thing. My mum bought it. She plugged it in. She set it up. And we were happy, obviously. Like, we were playing games as a family, but like, she'd never paid much attention to that tool before. Because it was when they were selling out so quickly. And she was on like websites trying to find one in stock. And it was like, right, we're going. And it was like, get in the car. And we went and we bought a Wii. And that was all my mum. And that was a completely different thing. And I think the simplicity of the controls, the competitiveness, it just captured people. What an insane time.
I was disappointed in Nintendo when the Wii released initially. Now I look back at it very fondly. I wanted to like show off my platforming skills and defeat the challenging boss fight. Now they're like, no, you're just going to play table tennis with your uncle.
Can you make a general forehand movement? You're going to be fine.
TDK's coffee is running low, and that'd be a good time to talk a little bit more about coffee for a brief second. I'm just wondering, is there a game that to you parallels the cathartic process of preparing that morning cup of joe that you have every day?
That's a crazy question. That's a great question. That's a really good question. I don't know. It depends on what you're kind of looking for, I guess. This is purely just a connection, but like I was getting into coffee when Animal Crossing's New Horizon came out. When we were in a pandemic and you had the time, you were booting it up every day and you were doing like your daily tasks.
Yeah.
That's a really good parallel as well. The last time that I really felt that, and this is going to sound so oddly specific, was the Lumio system in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. The sheer amount of attention that took, the experimentation, the occasional failures that then required you to start that whole character build process again, reminds me the most of like going through the process to pull a double shot of espresso and it just not working. If I don't do this again, I don't get what I want, so I'm just going to have to do it. I think that's the most recent feeling I would compare.
You know, there's all these indies where you have to wash dishes at a restaurant and, you know, the dishes are coming, you can't let them pile up. There must be some kind of indie where you're a barista and you have to pull espresso shots, but this person has a special soy milk order. The steam's about to like make the sound and overflow. Is that not a video game already?
I'm sure it is. And that captures the delightful terror that is being a barista.
Right.
Which is why I am not one. And I just do it at home. If the coffee's bad, I'm not disappointing anyone. But there must be a game like that.
Yeah. If not, Overcooked needs to make over caffeinated.
Yeah. There it is.
I also like the notion of there being one of those cozy games and you're doing it at your leisure.
We don't get to do this as much anymore, I don't think, Ray. But one of the things I loved pre-kids, there was really something to be said for a weekend morning, making your coffee, sitting down, and just diving into Red Dead 2 or some kind of Arkham game, some kind of Uncharted. It's a fresh day. My wife probably had to work on a weekend, and I had the day off, and I had, you know, no obligations. I got a pot of French press. I have this whole adventure in front of me. It's so relaxing.
100%. I have to remind myself to do that sometimes. The byproduct of doing social media is I think that you can get into a bit of like a stress of like always churning out content. I had to remind myself last weekend to sit down and I just did a Grand Prix in Mario Kart World with my coffee. And you're right, it's wonderful.
And, you know, as TDK mentioned, it's exceedingly harder and harder as parents. So, Tom, look at me, do it. do it for us, Tom.
I will do it for you every weekend.
I'm learning firsthand, just like you are, Tom, especially in the last couple of months, that yes, the social media content grind is no joke. What lesson playing the rock climbing sim Cairn, what lesson did that game provide you with?
These questions are crazy. You've done your research. I'm just like genuinely like, it's so good. What a question. Oh my God. And I have an answer. I think it was just to let go. Not let go physically, not jump off a mountain. Don't jump off a mountain, but like to let go of the thing that is like burdening you. Remind yourself why it is that you're doing it. Cairn was like such an amazing game. I just loved it because there was this insane connection between what Ava was going through and what you're having to put yourself through to get her to the top of that mountain. There were a lot of people online that like drew different things from that story. Some people said it was about grief, and the thing that I connected with was two things, was like kind of general depression but also burnout, trying to work out if she's climbing that mountain because she feels she needs to and that she's using it as an escape, or because it's where she wants to be. And that was like super valuable for me when it came to the content thing, because I don't know anyone who makes content who haven't at some point got lost in the views and the likes and the comments. I don't think anyone could avoid that. And all you have to do is be ready for it and have a kind of idea of why you're really doing this and remind yourself of that. Ken was a funny one because I had basically given up on Ghost of Yote. Great game, but I wasn't clicking with it. And that really bummed me out. So Ken was my like, right, I'm just going to play this. That game pulled me out of a gaming rut, reminded me why I enjoy making content, and kind of gave me a bit of like this grounded feeling. What a game. I loved it.
Can we touch on something you mentioned there, which I don't think I've ever heard a gamer really talk about this. There's more novels than we could ever even approach to read. You know, it feels terrible to not finish a book, and you start a book and it doesn't click and you feel guilty that you have to finish it. You should just give yourself permission to find the books that are for you. When you find a book that's for you, that fills you up, that's the magic of doing this, right? And it's the same for gaming. And to hear you call out such a AAA, universally loved game and say, it just didn't click for me, I kind of love that. That's going to happen, right? And you don't have to finish.
I've got another one.
20 hours of Ghost of Yote, right? Like you're
No.
allowed to just put it down and be like, that one wasn't for me. What's the other one?
Pocopia.
Oh, same,
Like, I
same.
wanted to.
Yeah.
I made a whole hooky video, like starting one of the biggest games of the year. I played like 3 hours and I was just like, I'm just not into it. It's all the things that I should like. It's quite intentional, very cozy and sweet. I didn't click with it and I just had to let it go. I hate that feeling. Like you said, you have to give yourself permission. Like, not everything is going to be for you. And if it isn't, you're just wasting time pushing yourself through it if you're not having fun.
You free yourself to find the game that'll surprise you or the game that will make you feel 15 again.
And I think after Pocopia, I played Animal Well. And
Love me some Animal
again, absolutely loved it. And I was like, I'm so glad I didn't waste time pushing myself through Pocopia when I wasn't enjoying it. Because if I did, I may not have got to Animal Well this year. I may not have got to it ever.
You guys are inspiring me. Sadly, Devil May Cry 5 for some reason isn't hitting the way I wanted it to. I'm kind of feeling like I might need to wean off and explore Rhythm Heaven, which I've played a demo of and I know I already really love. You know, these decisions are also sometimes, always in my case, tied to my finances. So that's another part that's a bummer, right? Like I spent money on this thing and like, no, I'm going to beat it. So that's like a little bit of that push and pull for me, but I can't force completing a game if it's not my jam.
Look at that, influencing people on a podcast.
Right, look at us go.
That sucks.
So Tom, real quick, top 5. What are the other hobbies outside of gaming that you love? And then maybe, you know, how do those kind of correlate with gaming? Do you put on a vinyl while you play a certain game, or do these things blend?
Yeah, certainly. It depends on what you're playing. I love making a coffee, putting a record on, and again, playing something easy. Getting the most out of the space that we've created. It's just like chugging 3 energy drinks at the same time. I'm just getting the dopamine from all of these things at once.
In January of this year, you said the word of the year for you was curating, if I'm not mistaken. Could you talk to us a little bit about that and how it's going?
Terribly. Well, no, it's not going terribly. I haven't revisited it, but that feeling has still been really prevalent, and it's been brought up a lot through the whole like Sony end of physical media news and stuff like that. I literally filmed a video today about my record collection for this other collaboration, right? And my angle there was that like my collection got too big and I had to cut it down. When you're someone who has a hobby or multiple hobbies, like sometimes they have to fit in your lives. And if I want to be able to enjoy record collecting and gaming, I can't buy every record under the sun that I randomly like. I need to think about what's going to get played and what's going to not. And when it comes to gaming, it's like, what do I need to own physically? Which now, given the news, everything. But like before the Sony news, I went through and I got rid of a bunch of games that weren't particularly important to me, like good games that I like, but that I don't need to own on a shelf. Within our space that you've complimented so kindly, like there is a pretty small game shelf, and that's everything. I don't want that to fill up too much. Being aware of that is important. I just bought Black Flag Resynced, and I bought that physically, even though I probably didn't need to because of the Sony news. But had the Sony stuff not happened, I think I would have been weighing up, do I really need to have this on my shelf? But I bought it physically anyway because I'm stubborn and I'm annoyed at Sony.
I've definitely subscribed maybe around the Switch 1 generation to like kind of being an all digital gamer. It just kind of lends itself very well to the portable gaming of the Nintendo Switch. The game key card thing happened and I started feeling the genesis of what was to come. And I think ever since game key card, I'm like, okay, if I really, really like something, maybe I'm going to just spring for physical because I don't know what's going to happen. And here we are, right? I got 2 more quick questions. We've played a ton of video games in our lives. And just like everyone else, some very surprisingly have escaped us. In 1 minute, pitch to us the absolute importance of the Outer Wilds.
Oh, come on, guys, it's cruel. Like, what are you doing? You invite me here and this is what you do to me?
We really want to make sure you don't have a good time.
You are crazy. The importance is, this is going to sound really pretentious, and I'm okay with it. The importance with it is self-discovery, re-remembering maybe why you love games, and that curiosity is enough to lead you through an experience. You don't need loot boxes all the time. You don't need all of these systems that are built just solely around profit. It's this all-encompassing thing in my life that I just struggle to put to words.
You're not alone. I've heard from many
crazy.
people. I've heard some people say they're no longer scared of death after playing that game. I'm like,
Wow.
what do you even mean?
It's discovery, which we've talked about a lot in this episode, which is great. It's discovery, it's connection, and it's facing your fears. Everyone I know who loves Outer Wilds played it at the right time. It's not going to solve all of your problems, but it can just give you so much perspective. Some parts of it are really difficult puzzle-wise. You just feel this sense of pride when you finished it because you just know that you did that yourself. There was no gear or loot or anything. Just your own curiosity took you the whole way. The most prevailing thing is the music. The soundtrack to that game is the best video game soundtrack I have ever heard. It's incredible. It's a masterclass in how you reuse melody. Even instrument choices in that game are connected to like where you are and the things that you're learning. It's been longer than a minute. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
But it's genuinely generational. And people bounce off it and that makes me sad, but I get it. It asks a lot of you and it just gave me a sense of achievement that I've not had from anything else.
Wow. Definitely need to just finally do it. See, the thing is, and I mentioned earlier, the likelihood of me completing a game increases significantly if it's played on my Switch due to how portable and easy it is for me to throw that thing on. I just know the Switch version in terms of frame rate and fidelity isn't going to be as strong. Is it going to be a deal breaker? Does this game require frame rate or HD, graphics? Will I enjoy my time on Switch?
I think you'll enjoy your time on Switch. You could maybe get more of it because it's got such a great art style. But like I saw Ennie Austin on YouTube played Red Dead Redemption 2 on a CRT. It still impacted him. So I don't think that with Outer Wilds that it would be a problem.
I think maybe it's time. I've heard too many great things beyond like just gameplay. People's lives have changed in a way that I've never heard a video game do.
It sounds a bit gatekeepery, but like I think you either get it or you don't. My only piece of advice would be just accept that some of it's going to be difficult and uncomfortable and it's going to annoy you and you just got to commit.
But it's back to that thing we were talking about where you have to find what's for you, right? So if there's a chance that this is the game that's going to be your game, worst case scenario, you bounce off it and it's like, I give it a shot. Best case, it makes you lose your fear of death that we all have inside of us, apparently, according to Ray.
Yeah.
I won't say that it has subsided my fear of death, but it has genuinely impacted my life and taught me valuable lessons. And the magic is that while I was learning those lessons, I didn't even realize I just stepped away from it and was like, I just feel like there was some things going on here. Sounds like a ghost story.
You should write that down and remember how that worked when you become a parent. You just crack the case. That's how you do it. Wait, one more thing. You said one of the best soundtracks in any video game. And then you also earlier, you mentioned you have soundtracks on vinyl. What do you have on vinyl? That's really
I have
fun.
Outer Wilds, which is a bit of a rare one, which is a struggle for people to find. So I flex it in as many of my videos as I can. I then have the soundtrack for the DLC. I have like Doom 2018, Bloodborne, and then they recently did the Bloodborne DLC soundtrack and they put it in a box set. I did a video about that. That was cool. Sekiro. I love Sekiro. And a recent acquisition because it was super cheap, even though I didn't love the game, was Deathloop. I thought that had a really good soundtrack.
Kind of funky,
fun. Kind of funky, spy sounding.
Yes.
There's other ones. Oh, Last of Us Part 1 and 2 as well.
Those are a bit more introspective, obviously. I find that if I want to feel like I can do this and I'm going to feel hopeful, the Spider-Man soundtrack, I have all of them. They're fantastic. They feel like John Williams wrote them, that they're really inspirational.
100%. Outer Wilds soundtrack does a similar thing for me. Rather than being this like push from behind, it feels like this like determination that's out in front of you.
It's like pulling you instead of pushing you. That's really interesting.
I love video game music is a whole thing. I could spend hours talking
also,
about.
Can we just call out the irony that we are talking about collecting video game soundtracks on physical vinyl records, but you can't get the video games? You know what I mean?
No, not allowed.
It's weird. We're the same audience. It's just curious.
Bizarro world, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This game is in beta, Tom. You're actually the first person to play this with us. It is a game based off of our namesake. We are playing Die or Pass Level. I'm going to quick fire some things out to you, and you're going to say Die. That's basically like yuck. Pass Level is basically your yum. Again, in beta, workshopping. I kind of want you to just say Die or Pass Level and move on. Zero context.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with motion controls.
Pass Level.
Referencing the internet or a guide for the solution to the answer in a game.
Die.
The console wars.
Die.
Live service games.
Die.
Easy mode in games.
Pass Level.
Oh.
In-game tutorials.
Pass Level.
Long-winded in-game tutorials.
Die.
HD remakes.
Pass Level.
online trash talk.
Die.
And last but not least, playing multiple video games at once.
Pass level.
Okay.
Past level. I'm going to tack on this last one. There's all this research that humans aren't good at multitasking. They just do more things less well, right? Let's just focus. Let's play one. Easy mode.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times when I'm not clicking with it, but I want to finish it and I don't want to not finish it. So we're going on easy mode. I'm going to blow through it.
I just like options. I like consumers to have options. You can only worry about someone else's experience so much. If we're going to talk about it like from soft games, right? People want an easy mode and people are really against it. Everyone that I've seen that is against it have said that it will allow people to ruin their own experience. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, but you've got to give them the choice to do that. Just worry about yourself. If you're going to play it and you want to play it a certain way, like that's super cool. But I think it's nice for people to have options.
One thing that I can't stand and will make me go in the opposite direction is if I keep dying and the game tells me, it looks like you're having trouble. Why don't you try? I'm like, no.
I do agree.
The in-game tutorial, I mean, that's a fun conversation of a different episode, but you get addicted to just going back to the kind of training space. Like early Lara Croft games, the tutorials were great. Now the best ones are when you don't even know you're being tutored.
Yeah, a lot of games figured out how to do that in a very intuitive way. There's like an enemy there, and you don't know you're learning to jump on its head, but it's the thing that's required of you to get to the next platform. So brilliant game design. It's advancing and it continues to. I think that concludes our episode, Tom. Obviously, you got a whole Instagram world and social media. Shut yourself out.
Yeah, so I'm TomHasHobbies on Instagram and TikTok. Far more active on Instagram because that just feels like my place. Shout out Outer Wilds, video game soundtracks, and buy physical.
Agreed. Let's go. TDK, any last comments or questions before we head out?
Tom, thanks for the coffee. Thanks for the hospitality. Really
No
good
problem.
to meet you and to hang at your place. I think I drank way too much of this French press though, or these flat whites. So I'm gonna go run some laps, do some push-ups. I gotta work this off.
Thank you so much. You are so hospitable. Place is pristine. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was really fun. This was something new for me. When I got your message, I was like, yes, easy. Let's go talk games and spread some positivity about games and some hot takes that weren't so positive by accident. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you, Tom.
Thank you. It's all about good vibes here at Doppel. And yeah, we really appreciate you coming on here and chatting with us. And you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much.
All right. That does it here for us at the Doppel. I mean, live from Tom Has Hobbies, this beautiful place. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we will see you on the next one. Peace out. Hey everybody, it's Ray here. Just wanted to thank you for tuning into the Dire Pass Level podcast. If you want to hang out and join us for the next episode, make sure to like and subscribe. That way you're notified when our next episode releases. If you really liked it, you'd do us a solid if you left us a review. Reviews are a great way to spread the word about our podcast, and the more gamers to share these stories with, the better. All right, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. There we go.